multiple relay teams and individual swimmers qualified and competed at the state level, representing Abington Heights across a full slate of events. For indoor track, athletes competed at several high-level meets throughout the season. These highlights included Julia Schuster, who finished third in the 55-meter hurdles, and Anna Puchalowski, who set a new school record in the 3,200-meter with 10 minutes and 59 seconds. The team demonstrated continued growth with multiple personal records. Unified Bocce had another strong season. Team 1 placed second at Northeast Region, and Team 2 placed third at Northeast Region. Team 1 also advanced to the regional championships at Penn State Schuylkill, finishing 5th overall. Cheerleading. Our varsity basketball cheerleaders completed a strong season, continuing to develop advanced stunt skills. The team successfully performed multiple high-level stunts, including extended liberties, heel stretches, scorpions, and scales. Tryouts for next season are scheduled for March 24th through the 26th. For our spring sports update, we have now finally transitioned into spring sports. Active programs include baseball and softball, track and field, boys tennis, boys volleyball, girls and boys lacrosse, and powerlifting. Practices and competitions are already underway across all programs. Lastly, we would like to thank you and the community for the continued support of all of our student athletes, coaches, and programs. We are extremely proud of what our teams accomplished this winter, and we look forward to an exciting spring season. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. To start, our progress reports were posted on March 6th, which indicated the halfway mark of our third quarter. And if parents are having difficulty accessing the report in Infinite Campus, please reach out to their guidance counselor. Program planning is underway for students in grades 8 through 11. 8th grade students received a presentation by Mr. Smith, and high school students received classroom presentations in their English classes on March 10th through 12th. 8th grade parents are invited on Thursday, March 19th to the high school at 6:30 p.m. to hear the presentation that will help them guide their children to courses that match their interests and future goals. Students can begin selecting courses on March 24th. Mock trial has experienced much success since our last board report. They have won the district and regional championship and will be heading off to the state tournament, which takes place March 27th through 28th. The 2026 Abington Heights High School mock trial team members are Mark Barbrack, Christopher Cummins, Aaliyah Murray, Nolan Moore, Amishi Amit, Lean Abugnia, Chase Roberts, Jasleen Montesino, Henry Mahoney, Hatice Cusack, Sadie Robeson, Grace Bennett, Ananya Fudke, Gabe Westgate, and Eloise Giroux. The coaches for the team are Ann Cummins and Denise Bennett, and the attorney advisors are Daniel E. Cummins of Cummins Law and Jody Healy of Cipriani and Warner. Art students have been on exhibit at the Gathering Place since March 8th, and it's the 9th annual Our Town Student Art Exhibit. This was sponsored by the Gathering Place Shirley Wagner Egan Scholarship Fund and Abington Heights Civic League. On Saturday, March 14th, the Pennsylvania State Department of the American Legion hosted the State Oratorical Finals at Lingelstown Post 272. Each contestant delivered an 8 to 10 minute prepared oration on a topic related to the U.S. Constitution, as well as an oration on a randomly assigned constitutional topic. The contestants all performed admirably, with first place going to Judah Donnelly from the 11th District in the Central Section. Judah will represent the state of PA at the National Oratorical Competition in Hillsdale, Michigan, May 15th through 17th. Since 1983, the American Legion of High School Oratorical Scholarship Program has encouraged the nation's high school students to study the U.S. Constitution and to hone their public speaking skills. The Com-Prom is this Friday night for our students in our VFAC classroom. Thank you to the many businesses for their generous donations to make this night so special for our students in an environment that supports inclusion. The Bunny Breakfast is Saturday, March 21st. Reservations are now closed, but we wanted to publicly thank Mr. Adam Baker and Interact for their dedication to the annual event. All proceeds will support the Women's Resource Center. And finally, on Friday, March 27th, our school will be hosting our inaugural mini-thon event. Junior Ella Musgrave spearheaded this event last school year and has worked dutifully with her leadership team and advisor, Mr. Brendan Buck, to make it happen. If anyone wants to stay up all night with a bunch of teenagers, we will be locked in dancing, playing games, and having fun from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next part of our meeting is for public comment. If someone would like to speak to the board, please fill out a card. We ask you to keep your comments to about 3 minutes to tell us who you are and where you live when you reach the podium. We, at this time, have 2 cards. The first is Dr. R. Scott.
Hello. So Karen Arscott, Waverly Township. Happy to be here tonight. I've been at Therapy Dogs training. That's why I haven't been here. But I wasn't planning on talking tonight. I should have been on the agenda for a volunteer. I applied to be the assistant softball coach for the JV team. Currently, Michael Thomas is the JV coach. He's by himself. So back on March 7th, I'd submitted an application, but I'm not on the agenda. So I have my packet. My concern is if I have to wait 2 more weeks and he's by himself coaching, you know, I really just want to volunteer and help. I have my packet with me. I'm not sure what happened, but I would really like to be able to help him during this time. So I wasn't sure what to do. When I got here, I thought, I'll just do a public comment and beg for you to allow me to volunteer my time free of charge. I really do believe it would be, I played college softball, so I think and I'm a doctor, so I think I'll be okay, you know, and I think that there should probably be a female, you know, there with the JV softball team, and he really would like me to help, so, but I was told I couldn't start until I was approved by you guys. So I said, well, I know a lot of them, and I said, but that may not be good for you.
Well, and you also coached many seasons for Abington Girls
have.
Softball, so you have, so
I've
don't sell yourself short, you have the coaching experience.
I've coached a lot of things, yes, and I've coached travel ball and everything else, so I'm happy to help, and I do have my packet with all my clearances and everything else, so I can give that to you, but I'm like, I follow the rules. I didn't start coaching without your approval. Like I know some people do, and now I don't want to wait 2 more weeks. So I don't know where if it was my email or what happened, but at any rate, I'm begging you to please allow me to volunteer my time.
She
Thank you very much.
can get a special exception or something, can't she
Now we
not?
need weather. If you could do something about the weather, that would be great.
Working on it. Get a dome. You have money for a dome? Pole barn? Hi.
I think they'll work through it. Okay. Mr. Stoller? Welcome again.
Ask me if he's volunteering this time.
Evening, guys. Mark Stoller, Waverly Township. I put on my card debt and debt service, which is mighty important to the comings and goings. I did have a chance to speak to Jim before you all got started, and he enlightened me on some of the aspects of how you operate. So my concerns are much less.
So does this mean you're going to be able to answer all our questions?
I'm getting there, Warren. It has been a very enlightening experience the last number of months to see how you all operate the budget. The $60 million corporation is something to run. I'm getting there, though. Just as a quick add-on, Doctor, one of your action items is the NEIU agreement. Maybe when you get to that, you'll explain a little bit about it. It's the 24-25.
It's a look back, yeah.
It's a look back.
But they do it, it's not, and Jim can talk about, it's not funded in the current year, but it's like the previous year.
I was just hoping to
If you show up here next year at the same time, then we can talk about the 25, 26.
I will. Thanks for the time.
Are you interested in being a junior varsity softball coach, Mr. Stoller?
Does Dr. Arscott have some competition?
Mr. Stoller, we appreciate your involvement and your questions.
Nope. No, you tried, you tried. That's good.
Okay. Dr. Schaefer, I think the floor is yours.
Sure. What I'm going to do is I'm only going to say make one statement because there are a couple action items which I've been contacted, by some board members. I know that we'll talk about them when they get up. So, for instance, Dr. Tioni, I'll have her come up when it comes time to talk about the curriculum guide. And this is just an FYI. It's not meant to be a conversational item. However, it has come up in the past with this board, and I thought that I would just kind of insert myself in the discussion and just kind of let the board know my thoughts on it. But Jim and I received an email at 3:30 on 5 o'clock, at 3:30 on Friday, from the state, which can only mean one thing. They're just much like the government, where they're going to drop something, federal government. They're going to drop it on Friday at 3:30, so I can't call anybody to complain about it. But we've talked about this, and I think Mr. Stoller was the last one to mention it. But certainly Abington Heights, along with many other school districts, have received more money in state funding as a result of a lawsuit, which several school districts won, which forced the Commonwealth to start contributing more funds to public education. Even then, we still have the 7th highest threshold of all the states. I said numerous occasions, and will say once again, that 70% of our budget is from local sources that way. But in 2006, we had an Act 1 index, so the board can only increase taxes by a certain amount, and certainly understand that, and we respect it. Back then, when the law was put together, they allowed school districts to have some exceptions to raise the threshold of that tax index by a little bit. And over the years, those different exceptions have gone away. They haven't gone away on the books, but essentially we can't take any of them, with the exception of special education. And even then, it's very difficult, and it has to be the correct timing. Last year, Jim and I had a discussion because we received an email saying that if the school district, received any money, additional money, what they called adequacy dollars, right? And this is just the money that the state owes us because it wasn't equitable, right? They're calling it adequacy dollars, which they give to us in the form of a grant. That if we received 50,000 or more, which a vast majority of the districts did, then we could not apply for any exceptions. They did not tell us this. They buried this in the footnotes. Lesson learned. I used to read footnotes in college, and I will read them now. And I believe Mr. Azar asked a question at a board meeting last year when we were talking about this, and he said, well, they still didn't, we can still do a referendum. And I said, yes. And referendums is not it isn't 5 members of the board voting yes, right? We're going out to the community. It's the most democratic principle there is. It's a pillar of our democracy, where the community gets to vote, right? And that's why 98% of all referendums around school buildings fail. Very rarely do you see communities that vote to increase their taxes past a certain amount. But yet there are communities, most recently Abington in Montgomery County, to build a new middle school, ironically enough. So I just set up, because I was, Rod asked me the question, and I said, no, there's no way that they would take away the right for the community to vote on something. This isn't a school board, like, there's no way that would ever happen. Not here. So this memo came out on Friday, and it did say that they then took away the ability for a referendum. And I said, well, you know, we've got many of things on the pot, but I will make it a point to talk to our legislators and let them know that my disappointment in the Shapiro administration for taking away one of the pillars of democracy, and that is for our constituents in our community to vote on something they want. It wasn't long ago where I had a group of advocates for full-day K coming here where we outlined all the fiscal challenges, and you know, someone said, well, could you put it to a referendum? And I said yes. And here I am wrong. And it's very disheartening. And so I just wanted to get that out there on the record, and I will reach out to Ms. Kozarowski, Mr. Flynn, Mr. Haddock, Senator Brown, to let them know that my disappointment. You know, yes, it's very hard to get a referendum across the line, but it's the principle of it. Your community being able to vote on something that they want. So I just wanted to put that out there to the board, because I was wrong.
Well, you were right, but now
Yeah. It was
You were right until Friday at 3:30.
yeah, you're right. I did feel better, like I was right until
Friday at
Friday.
3:30, you were wrong.
So with that said, I'll ask Jim to do the treasurer and bills report.
Good evening, everyone. First, I just wanted to address the NEIU question, and that's, those are IDEA Part B funds. They're special education funds that come from the federal government. Now, the state shutdown and the federal shutdown did push that contract pretty far behind this year, but we usually see it maybe a little earlier in the year. But so yes, that is actually a contract for the prior fiscal year, so that we can receive our money, you know, properly on the books. We're hopeful to get our 25-26 contract sooner so that we can submit and get the reimbursement for the funds, because we are spending our dollars on special education, largely salaries, and then we claim those funds and bring them back into our general fund. And that's how the grant works, but we can't get reimbursed until we have a contract in place. So that's the matter before us. But those funds go to the NEIU and they disperse them out to us when we apply for reimbursement. So on to the treasurer's report. We started with a cash balance available of $24,251,190. Now, I will say, if you had an earlier version when I first uploaded this, the starting cash balance was actually last month's starting cash balance. So we amended that. So if you printed this out, there was an error there, and we did update it is live now in the correct number. We had total local revenues of $1,335,941. State revenues of $3,448,265. Total monthly revenues of $4,882,500, for total cash available of $29,133,691.12. We had disbursements of $5.4 million, bringing us to an ending cash balance of $23,680,042. Any questions?
May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe? Yes. Mr. Robeson?
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
And Mr. Acker?
Yes.
6-0.
And Mr. Mirabelli, thank you very much for making the report.
Mr. Acker, to ask the board consider a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kehoe? Yes. Mr. Robeson?
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
And Mr. Acker?
Yes.
6-0.
Mr. Acker, to ask the board consider a motion to approve the March 2026 volunteer list.
Can we amend it?
You have to do that.
and I will expedite the question, and, yeah, because, yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
So I think we have a motion, we should have a second.
Second.
Okay, now, on the motion, you have a question, Mr. Abdullah?
So we can do, Dr. Schaefer, we can amend it later. You could, not even amend it, you could expedite it in a different way.
Yeah, the board gave me, I can do that higher. Okay. On the spot. We did that in like August or September, so yeah.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Robson?
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Acker?
Yes.
6-0.
Mr. Acker, ask the board consider a motion to approve the disposal of 5 particle board computer desks at New Hanson Elementary. Can you make a desk out of particle board? I guess.
I was
Make
wondering if we could have a
walls.
bond,
There's a lot of
can
things
we have a,
Balsa wood,
can we have a
right?
bonfire?
Walls, desks,
Should we save them for the bonfire for homecoming?
right.
Sorry. you guys-
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion. Lots of good ideas here, Roll call, please.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Robson?
Yes.
And Mr. Acker?
Yes.
6-0.
Mr. Acker, ask the board consider a motion to approve the 24-25 IDEA use of funds agreement with the NEIU.
Can I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
Thank you. On the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe? Mr. Robson?
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
And Mr. Acker?
Yes.
6-0.
Dr. Tierney, would you like to come up and give us like a brief rundown of some of the changes requested in the curriculum guide?
The easiest way for you to probably follow along is if you're looking at the change sheet. So most of the changes, while there haven't been like large changes, there are important changes. So I'm gonna put my cheaters on so I can also follow along a little bit better. We just changed some wording on how our students can access some remediation. We included benchmark and diagnostic testing because that hadn't been included. So with us doing CDT 3 times a year, we wanted to make sure that that was part of our curriculum and that was noted for everyone to follow along with. The state is changing. We have been compliant with this for years. In which our students have always received financial literacy. They receive it through one of our courses in the 10th grade. The state has beefed up the requirements for that. So Beth Kelly is the current teacher for that, and her and I attended training at the IU to get all of the requirements that the state now wants. So that course is being rewritten. So those changes for financial literacy, that is a course that's replacing. If you've had children come through the high school, it was formerly called Intro to FCS. We updated some of the language with Johnson College because they also increased some of the offerings to our students. Our students can go there for their senior year. The art department made some changes. The electives are rewriting curriculum this year. So the art department wanted to reduce some of their full credit offerings to half credit offerings so that students can, it gets challenging. You typically only have about 2 to 2.5 credits of electives, and if you're taking a full credit class, then it doesn't leave you a lot of opportunity. Like if you're taking a full credit world language class, and maybe, then you're only getting one other credit option. So they recognized that maybe they were missing some students who wanted to experience some courses in the art department. So they've reduced creative expression to a half credit. We always had a photo 2 course, and Mr. Butler, who teaches our photography courses, wanted to split his photo 2 class into the 2 units that he covers. So now it's 2 photo 2 type electives, but reduced to half a credit. And then Ms. Fenton also wants to add an inclusive art class in which your general ed students are preparing lessons and cooperative learning experience for them to work alongside with our students in our life skills programming. So that is a very welcomed and exciting opportunity that the art department is going to deliver for us. PBF is personal business finance in response to how we are changing financial literacy. The business department also updated their language on that course. They are adding, because they collapsed keyboarding and business tech into one course, they have the opportunity to add a course for next year. Lily Savoy is one of our business teachers, and she pitched and wrote a plan to incorporate entertainment and hospitality event planning, which is a field that's just growing wildly in the post-secondary setting. We didn't have reading 9 last year at the high school, but it was still existent in our curriculum guide because we weren't sure how the structure of reading would look in the K-4 setting. And so now the teacher that was kind of supporting reading at the high school is at the elementary, and our other teacher is able to support those students that still require reading at the high school. So that's why reading is getting deleted from our curriculum guide. And PE also had a pretty big rewrite. They wanted to change all of their classes, kind of like names a little bit. So we used to have a class called Biosport, and it really focused on athletic training. And that really isn't the focus. The kids aren't as into athletic training as that used to be, and they like moaned and groaned when they were going into the athletic training room. So they evolved that course into exercise science, more like fundamental movements, how your body works, body mechanics, things like that. They're going to change all of the physical movement classes. Instead of having titles to them, they're going to call them sports and movement, and to get those kids moving. And Amanda Caviston, if you didn't know, now you know, shameless plug for her. She's a Pilates junkie, and she wants to bring Pilates to one of our PEs, at the high school setting. So she's excited because she wants to use the auxiliary gym throughout the day, which is an underutilized space in our building. So she's going to be teaching Pilates from there. And then our Intro to Tech program is going to better match getting kids industry credentials in a much smoother way, so that they can kind of, instead of having to spend a whole year cycling through a quarter, they can pick 2 and get through that a little bit quicker. Our woodworking program is evolving so that those students can also receive an industry credential by the time they graduate, and we're looking to get them carpentry certified, so that it matches our auto certification and our masonry certification. And then world languages, they're restructuring to reflect the sequence of as everybody that enters the high school can start in a first level, like Spanish 1, French 1, German and Russian 1, and reach AP, or what the Russian comparative is NEWL, N-E-W-L, by the time they graduate. Are there any questions about what you?
I have 2. So what was the, can you just tell us a little bit more about the rationale behind getting rid of honors languages in 8th grade?
I'll have to defer to Dr. Koss on that because it's my curriculum guide, but it wasn't.
So here's my history lesson as I know it. Students had an opportunity at the middle school to take an honor Spanish class. And initially, the rationale for that was that it allowed them to take AP Spanish. But we determined that actually all students have the opportunity to take AP Spanish. That honors course at the middle school was kind of not really a value add for anything when kids hit the high school from that perspective, and it was a little bit hand-tying the middle school schedule. So because all of our students have the opportunity to reach those AP levels at the high school, and we weren't offering commensurate honors French or honors anything else at the middle school, we're just going to offer the same courses across the board at the middle school, knowing that kids all will have the same opportunities at the high school moving forward. Make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was a little taken back because there's not a whole lot of opportunities at the middle school level to take enrichment classes like that. But I mean, I see your point if it's only offered for one language, but I do think it was like a nice perk for kids, at a younger age that was interested. So that caught my attention. And then, so for the physical activity courses, are they now graded and then they're starting next year, they're going to be offered pass-fail?
So all of our whole PE department is on a 100-point numeric scale at this point. We're going to phase in the grading, so freshmen that take it, you'll still be able to, so the incoming freshman class, the class of 2030, if they're in a physical movement class, they will be getting pass-fail grades. If you're in a classroom PE course, which health, your exercise science, and your coaching principles, there's still quizzes and tests in those, so we wanted to keep them on the 100-point scale. Everybody will remain 100-point on that. And then the teachers will be able to enter the grades for 10th through 12th grade so that their transcript stays whole.
Okay, so is there an option for, because I know some of the classes that are pass-fail that the kids can take, they can choose to have it pass-fail or they can take it on the 100-point scale, or will they have that option, or is it, because I just think like gym, sometimes that's like a nice perk to help with, GPA for some students who might struggle in other content areas.
When you're asking about the pass-fail courses, the seniors, that if you have an 85 GPA, you can elect to take a non-honors and a non-AP pass-fail. Is that what you're asking about?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that option is only for seniors. And
Okay.
There's like criteria that are set on that. So I guess, if I'm understanding the question correctly, will the rising sophomores, juniors, and seniors, could they still opt to be on a numeric scale?
Yeah, or even like, I just was trying to figure out like the rationale of why take away the opportunity for kids to help bolster their GPA, through taking one of the physical movement classes.
Yeah, so the PE teachers find themselves in a rock and a hard place because kids aren't truly participating as much as you would like to think, maybe, perhaps, and then they are afraid to be the reason that their GPAs are slipping when they're docking them points for not coming with appropriate footwear, not doing these things, not doing that. And so that's why they wanted to move away from the 100-point scale, because they were getting some pushback from kids like, I'm not going to participate today, but please don't take my 10 points away from me type of thing. And so like they wanted to be able to give the kids the autonomy to still be in a class, but recognize that if you forget your footwear, I'm not going to be dropping your GPA every time you don't follow the thing. So a pass-fail allows them a little bit of room to kind of have some classroom management and still not hurt the student on the non-participant, like if they forget, it's like forgetting your homework one day type of thing. There's not a lot of teeth to what happens because there's no homework, so that's why they were kind of thinking like maybe we should go back to pass-fail.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I had a couple. What about the reduction of the number of assessments that our students have to go through? I know a lot of times students complain they're always taking a test or preparing for exams, not like subject exams, but formal by the state or by any type of assessment that happens. I think last time I counted, there were about 14 different ones. Not that every student takes 14, but it just seems like a lot.
Yeah, the high school probably has less than other areas because you're only assessed in ninth grade for your literature. About half of our freshman class takes the algebra, and then all of our 10th grade class takes the biology, and then your state assessments.
Yeah.
It's not where every single year they're in high school that they're taking a state assessment. So any assessment that our high school students take after those 3 state assessments are ones that they're choosing, like the College Board. And
Sure, yeah,
we
yeah.
do offer a lot of those. Last year, we gave 592 AP exams. But that was all at-will student choice. They did those things. The CDTs, to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to honor learning and filling gaps, like 3 times a year. It's not as high stakes and disruptive to their schedule as maybe it would appear. It happens right within the classroom setting. It's
And
not.
usually I get the complaints when it's that time.
They have
of
other
week.
things they would prefer to be doing, right? Like a non-preferred task, teenagers love to complain about for sure. But I would find that the assessment schedule at the high school is pretty manageable.
Okay.
I don't find that I'm disrupting schedules to give assessments because the CDTs happen right within that classroom because it's a smaller population of students. My whole building isn't taking a CDT or isn't taking a Keystone exam. It's only those tested areas of Algebra 1, Biology, and English 9. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second question, first of all, thanks for answering that.
Oh, of course.
The other thing is, we talked about classes that are very helpful for real life, like personal finance. I forget the name of that class, but, one thing that I brought up a couple of years ago, and it's proven to be the case where AI is all over the place in everything we do. And do we have any type of class or lab or anything that instructs our students about I'm not saying how to use ChatGPT. We don't need that.
Yeah.
But like, what is it? Like, how do we use it responsibly? What are the issues? What are the benefits? Where is it going? What kind of careers can I, if I want to go to college, what do I look at? Do the guidance counselors know about it?
Yeah.
Because it's only going to, it's in everything we
It's
do.
everywhere, for sure. And I actually had the opportunity to do a walkthrough in what is currently called Intro to FCS, but will be that financial literacy course. And she was they had to do like a comparative analysis of like, find these 3 jobs or these 3 cars, their safety ratings, all of these things. And she was showing them how to expedite research and to use research to your advantage using, an AI or a generator of some sort that helps kind of, as a consumer, can help you become a better consumer. So I think that teachers are getting a little bit more comfortable with themselves using it and then making sure and embracing it that it's not a cheat code. It's something that can enhance your knowledge structure and your acquisition of knowledge and quicken the pace with which you get that knowledge, right? And so also then teaching them how to cross-check to make sure they're not being fed a line of,
Well,
malarkey.
that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Because the thing that concerned me was, and it's no one that I'm related to, but students that I talk to.
Public disclaimer. I won't tell her. I won't tell her, I
They're
promise.
very somewhat negative
Yeah.
about AI.
Yeah.
And they don't even want to talk about it
Yeah,
sometimes.
I get that. I think there's still fear out there, right? Because a little bit of like how powerful it is when you see it do something, a task that you've already done, and you know how long it used to take you to do that task, and then in an instant it can be done for you. So there's still a little bit of fear. But I do find that being in education now, it is bridging the gap between like the adolescents and how the adults are experiencing it, and we're putting our heads together on it. And just being honest, like I'm very honest with my faculty and staff, like how I utilize it and lean into it where it's appropriate, right? And so, you always have to check yourself for tone, and I think that is a wonderful place where we could be using it. And, there are kids out there that sometimes struggle even just getting their thoughts on a paper. So sometimes it's a great like graphic organizer or helping them
Unstructured,
getting those things getting their ideas going. And so I do think that the teachers, so while there's no course, so back to your question, while there's no course that's actually teaching it, the teachers are implementing it and like using it to their advantage. I know a lot of kids will ask, if you have a teenage kid, you've probably heard them say like, oh, I just asked Goth. That's like their AI person. I don't know what that is. But they will ask it to give them a study guide. Give me a study guide on this unit in this content area, and it'll generate a study guide for them, and it's another supplemental resource for them to use. So I think they're naturally finding their path on what's right for them and how best to use it. But if things come up and we see course opportunities, I treat this like a work in progress, and we revisit it every year. So like if there's a place where it fits and how it grows here in our world, I think it'll naturally come up in conversation.
It's only get bigger. And the only thing I would say is, thank you for doing this, because this is really good. And I know it's only once a year, and you do a lot of good work. And it's hard to add one, because if you have to add one,
You got
there's
it's a
only so
jigsaw.
many hours
Things have
in
to
the,
move.
But I would just
Yeah.
ask if we try to look at opportunities to reduce unnecessary assessments and try to find a way to start getting, I won't even say AI per se, but just the umbrella of artificial intelligence, not just, ChatGPT,
Yeah.
but like machine learning, things like that, that is used in everyday things to
For sure.
check insurance quotes to, we see unfortunately, national defense. So it's all over the place.
So this is what we're going to do. Given your question, and this is my philosophy, so it should not be looked at like a standalone. So Dr. Calder, Dr. Koss, and we'll start with Dr. Tioni will seek out more information and lean into how we will embed this knowledge and skills into our pre-existing courses and to take a deep dive into this. Certainly, to your point, there are some like pragmatic aspects of this, like all the uses and things like that. At one point, we used to have classes on how to use PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, and Excel. And then we learned that it's best to practice these skills in context. And so we may be learning this in economics, right? So there's tons of applicability, some examples that you mentioned within, civics, government, economics. I can go on and on. I talked to Mr. Azar's ear off about the FOMC and the paradox that is AI and decreasing workforce while increasing proficiency, leading to companies doing really well vis-a-vis the stock market, right? But yet job losses coming down, right? These are the types of things that we can do a much better job at, and we have to take a look at that as we talk about professional learning, because we can't get behind this like we did 3 decades ago with email, and I'm talking about in general, right? So we will get on that. Point taken.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thione.
At this time, I'd ask the board to consider a motion to approve the 26-27 curriculum guide.
Okay, in this particular case, I'm going to ask we have a motion and a second, and then follow on with discussion and questions.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. On the question, who would like to begin talking about,
Do curriculum.
Do we still in the curriculum guide?
excuse me, we're still in the curriculum guide. In that, I apologize.
I put Warren in a pickle because I violated Robert's rules again.
I apologize. So, roll call,
My
please.
error.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe? Mr. Robson?
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mr. Acker?
Yes,
6-0.
okay, so,
Mr. Acker, I'd ask
in
that the
talking
board-
about the,
I'd ask the board could consider a motion to approve the proposed Abington Heights 26-27 academic calendar.
So moved.
Second.
okay. Who would like to begin? Mrs. Henderson,
Well, spent a lot of time on this today, fielding a lot of questions from teachers and parents that were concerned when they looked at this calendar at first glance. I think the question I was asked most frequently today was, is this something that's going to be approved tonight? Or, and are there other options that can be explored?
Yes, great questions. I too have been fielding questions today. And to give a little bit of the backstory, in May, and actually a little bit before May of 2025, as we were negotiating the early bird contract, which the board approved last year, I had mentioned this in our discussions about in the next upcoming year and years, we need to think about starting school before Labor Day, or getting a little more creative in our scheduling, because the calendar is becoming compressed. And I say that because while the district, the school board has managerial rights, many managerial rights around the calendar. In the collective bargaining agreement, there are a few things that are enumerated, which you do not have control over: teacher days, student days, when we start, when we end, where professional development days, how many can be where in certain instances. In knowing this, I provided the union leadership. Dr. Cost did a great job, and she's put together numerous calendars. And I asked the union leadership to put it up for a vote. While I don't receive emails from them, it's my understanding that I don't think that these calendars in their complete version were put in front. Instead, I was told that they couldn't put up a calendar for a vote unless it met all of the requirements in the contract. So I put together a calendar after several iterations that was just meeting the contract. And that's what you have before you. I do not think that this calendar is beneficial for our families, our students, faculty and staff, and administrators. But at the end of the day, I have, very little control over some of these things that are enumerated, and I respect the collective bargaining agreement, and I did my very best without compromising the integrity of what we felt we needed as leaders to have. So that's what gets us to where we are today.
All right, I just have a couple clarifying questions. So half-days, are there any, usually we have half-days before Thanksgiving and before the winter break. So as it stands, there's not half-days?
There are not.
None, okay.
There are not. In the collective bargaining agreement, it requires 181 days, student days. And the challenge here is that despite the Pennsylvania school code changing in the 23-24 school year, which gave the school board greater flexibility to have less than 180-hour days, what they simply did was they took out the word and they put or. So 180 days or 900 hours, 990 hours, 450 hours, and those hours are associated with the, high school, middle school, half-day, kindergarten, elementary, that type of thing. However, the school code does not supersede a collective bargaining agreement. So if we wanted to go below 181 days, then we would have to negotiate that, which is why I asked the union to take a look at various calendars and put a vote on.
So there's also, we don't have any snow days built in here, correct? So any snow presumably is going to go at the end. So we're supposed to be done, the idea is, the target date is to be done by the second Friday in June for teachers to finish. So any snow day that we have would be added on at the end of the year. And then how many, remind me, how many FAT days do we get from the state? We can take 4?
We can apply for 5.
Apply for 5.
They can approve them or not. Typically, they do come back at the end of the year and ask us what day we use them and for what reason. So they do come back on the back end and check that we use them as we said we were going to when we applied.
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest, like I have very strong reservations about voting on this tonight. And from the feedback that I've gotten from people that are teaching and are responsible for the care of our kids for most of their waking hours, a lot of them were surprised by this, and they were coming back to us, I can't believe the school board and the administration's doing this to us. I had a big problem with that perception. It sounds like, we're kind of, you're bound by what the collective bargaining agreement sets forth. So it seems like there's not, if you're starting after Labor Day and you want to finish by the second Friday in June, it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of wiggle room. I'm not comfortable voting on this tonight I'm not sure how you want to proceed, but given the fact that from the teachers that I heard from, this was a complete shock to them, I would respectfully like to give the union and the teachers more time to have thoughtful conversations and consideration about the calendar. But that's just my opinion, but I will be voting no if we were to put this up.
Mr. Hayes, I know you have some comments, but just to reiterate this point, so in order to provide some more flexibility like you're talking about, we probably need to ask the union to vote on those changes.
Yeah, or at least give people some time to digest it. I know, like, we have the agendas published, 24 hours in advance, but I think, people this went live and they saw it, and I think it's a lot to digest, whether the union decides to have conversations about it or not. I mean, a lot of the teachers I spoke to they were kind of felt blindsided. I just think I'm not comfortable voting on this tonight, and I think the respectful thing to do for our educators is to allow them time to, see what the options are, maybe talk to Dr. Schaefer again and see. I know you and Dr. Cos.
I have no problem releasing my emails and correspondence with the union leadership relative to this. We had several calendars out there to take a look at. I would hope that could be in front of union membership to vote on. I mean, the reason why I asked for a vote is because I knew that I didn't meet the criteria in the collective bargaining agreement, and I thought that is the most democratic and fair way to do it, to say here are the schedules that would meet. Some of the feedback I got, some of it just wasn't consistent with things that we wanted relative to professional development, but there's a couple things in there like, removing Martin Luther King Day and Veterans Day, which are two holidays which I absolutely would not remove. And nor do I think that the board would support that. Mr. Azar.
So, yeah, I had a couple of questions. My first, you mentioned that you said that, you right now?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, and I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on TV, but I would ask, can we find out if they're allowed to put it to a vote? Like it sounded like you were told that they didn't think they could put it to a vote to go past what is in the collective bargaining agreement if we were gonna make modifications. So I'd like to know if they may choose not to do that, and that's their right, but I'd like to clarify for them if they could do it, right? But then just to frame the issue, because I got a good number of questions on this, and I think that there's not many people in the community, certainly parents, and I think maybe even a lot of teachers that don't really understand the rules of the collective bargaining agreement, and I just want to make sure I understand it. So the way that it's written right now, the school year has to end by the second Friday in June, right? Students have to be done then, and the professional development days have to be done then, correct? So nothing can happen past that unless we have snow days that are added, right? It can't be part of the calendar. And then it's also, and I on the record, I very much wanted to modify that part of the agreement when we went into the early bird, and it didn't get, you only talk about a limited number of things. I was on the record saying that I wanted them to consider going earlier. We're one of the school districts in northeastern Pennsylvania that still goes after Labor Day, and we are in the vast minority. I know there are some others, but if there's 37 or 38 schools in District 2, the vast majority of them go back a little bit earlier. And the benefit of doing that, I know it's a shorter summer, but the benefit of doing that is you can build in more days off during the school year, which, the kids need, the parents need, the teachers need, and so I think that that's a win-win, but it didn't make it into the contract, and I get it. So, but the contract says that we can't, am I correct that that's the bookend at the end, but at the beginning, students can't start before Labor Day, and you can only have one professional development day before Labor Day, is that right?
That's correct. So in the collective bargaining agreement states students can't start before Labor Day, and we are allowed to have one new teacher day. So those are just our new hires. It's a pretty small number there. And then one professional learning day, okay? which means that after Labor Day, typically, we have another professional learning day. And I want to make sure that I clarify my philosophy here and where that is grounded. We have a very limited number of professional learning days that we're allowed to have per the collective bargaining agreement. I believe that for the most part, those need to be front-loaded, right? So we're kind of like antithetical to a regular business, right? You know, if you need to learn something on something, then you have it right then and now. Our years are finite. You're gonna be a third grader from this time to this time. If we have some professional learning around some curriculum resources, then the teachers should have as much of that prior to the kids coming in, right? Otherwise, if you wait long enough, then it's just autopsy work, right? So we you know, we're very cautious that way. So, you know, to your point, with Labor Day being late September this year, it really compresses the calendar, makes it really difficult to get those things in. And
That was gonna be my next
yeah.
point. So you have that bookend on either side, and
Right.
this is just, it doesn't happen except for a couple of years every decade. This year, Labor Day is September 7th.
Yep.
So
And
that
next year it's
condenses
tough,
it,
too.
the most it could be condensed. So you have the fewest days between those two bookends to operate, right?
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, I agree with Mrs. Henderson. I think we do have to vote on it. It's on the agenda, but, you know, I would like to, I'm not voting no because I'm being negative, but I'm gonna vote no because I'd love to see you go back and talk to the attorney to see if they could do it. And just, you know, I think it's better for everybody. It doesn't, I don't see why, and I'm sure there are some people that it's going to inconvenience and they're gonna vote against it because maybe they've planned things. So, and you're never gonna have 100% people that support it, but I'd be surprised if this wasn't better for a lot of people. So that's my thoughts.
Other questions or comments on this? Dr. Schaefer, is there a particular time frame that this has to be approved? I mean,
Well, I
know
would want to do it sooner rather than later because there's some planning around these days, and you know, for all the reasons we've talked about here, it's you know, I see I have very few options that way. I know that we have a couple people in the union here today. Feel free. I mean, would you guys be willing to vote for your teachers to see the complete calendar and do?
Like to engage in more conversation. I think that's something that we can work out this long term.
And I think it should be noted, if you look at the top of that calendar, it says proposal 3.
Which one?
When we were asked about one, this was not the one that was asked.
Which
Yes,
one?
it was.
Yes.
I mean, we communicated with our membership about what was initially presented, and, you know, there were a lot of questions back then too, so I think that, you know, to Jeff's point, that there needs to be some more ongoing discussions. I know Labor Day is late, but we were in this scenario in 2015. 2016 was a leap year. I've done my homework on this. I have a folder full of things. And the students ended on Monday, June 13th, to Mrs. Henderson's point. If there's snow, it can filter into the third one. Our last day, teacher day, was Tuesday, June 14th of 2016. So I mean, I understand no one wants to go into that, and I know there's a lot of factors with that. But, you know, there's a lot of considerations, and I think there's opportunity for more discussion. And in previous years, I went back through board minutes that I could access. Calendars have been approved in April as well, so I think that, you know, we still have some time to do some more work and look at some more options.
You know, it seems to me.
Was it a different contract in 2015, or was it the same?
Yes. So,
Back then it was 180 days.
So back then it was just days.
Dr. Schaefer, do we not have the right to table this for?
Yeah, we can table it, but give me
Table
the
this
date on that.
for,
We did
for
send
a
an
future
email
meeting, say within 30 days.
March 11th with these calendars. So, Yeah, we can table it, and I will speak with the union, and I will not, just so you know, I'm not going to deviate from what I said before on what I'm willing to move and what I'm not willing to move. And, you know, I also would like the opportunity for your membership to vote on it. You know, I think that's very fair, because it's very difficult in this position, in the position that the board's in, that, you know, I get your role and how difficult it is as a leader, but you've got, you know, 250 other people and having other conversations. And I think as far as like transparency and collaboration, that putting that out, then everybody, you know, everybody can see what we're talking about, because there are, as you've heard, so many details when it comes into a calendar.
I'd like to move, or I'd like to.
Okay.
Could I just ask one, before we table it, I just want to be clear, so, and I'm not involved deeply in the discussions, I'm coming in at a high level and might be wrong, but when you get back together, which is great, I think it's great, right? I think that's always good, right? But it sounds to me like the issue hinges on whether or not you could go past those bookends.
That's right.
Right, for us, right? I mean,
Yep.
that whether or not, and if you can't, then this is what we're gonna be,
Correct.
you know,
We're
voting
talking
on.
about starting before Labor Day or looking
Whether
at
it's
the
you
end
get
of the year.
a
Right.
couple days after those,
Yep.
the bookend,
Yep.
or a couple days before to create flexibility, and
Correct.
if that doesn't happen, and it either, the decision's made to not put it to a vote, or it's voted down, then we'll be back
To this
looking
calendar.
at, you know,
Yep.
this calendar, okay.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds like, I'm sorry, but like, you know, if the union accepts to go past that second Friday in June, either like up front or, I mean, the reality of us not having snow days next year. So, I mean, it seems like we're going to be spilling into June
Which is
either
the exact
way.
point I made.
So it's
Yeah,
almost
yeah, yeah.
like, I don't know, I'd rather like set the table and know what I'm getting for dinner. You're right, like I'd rather know what to expect than have to stare at this calendar. I mean, the lack of like little yellow squares where,
Well, there's
you
a
look
lot.
at like family time, like there was one day for like, spring break. I mean, it's just, there's just a lot of glaring things that I think, but I mean, the reality is you're probably going to go into the third week of June, right? Like, who loves that idea? I mean, it is what it is, but
But
I
you
just
could
think.
proactively
Right, if you're
fix some of
proactively-
the holes that are
yeah.
in this like, there's no, just so everybody knows that's watching, like, there's only Good Friday off for spring break, instead of, you know, we've had as many as 3 days. I think this year we have 3 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no half day before Thanksgiving, there's no half day before Christmas, and there's a professional development day for teachers during the holidays. So, you know, this scrunching of the calendar, I mean, it'd be great if we could come up with a better mousetrap here.
I think there's another issue too, at least from my standpoint as a board member, is I think we need to have our families have an opportunity to weigh in
Right.
on this topic as well. They're certainly part and party to this whole situation, and
Yeah.
I think what we need to do is come up with the best solution for everybody, and recognize everyone has different points of view, which are important. So I'd propose we table it at least until the next meeting, Dr. Schaefer, or the meeting after. What?
Yeah, what I will do is I will email the union leadership tomorrow, and I'll just put a timeline on it, and that would be, this is the last board meeting in March, and I don't want to go any later than the last board meeting in April.
Okay, before we do this, are there any board members that have a concern about tabling this discussion at this time? Okay. Move on, please.
Okay. So at this time, I'd ask the board to consider a motion to approve the Special Olympics Young Athletes MOU for Newton Ransom Elementary. And just let me say something really quick on this. I'm really excited that we Special Ed Department put out completed a grant, and we're gonna receive some funds for Newton Ransom Elementary for kids in grades K to 2. It's basically move around, kick the balls, throw the balls, and just get them into some of the unified sports at a younger age. And so we're really excited about this opportunity at Newton Ransom. We already have a volunteer coach.
So moved.
Second.
Can you let us know
motion?
when those dates are going to be? Sorry. When they're going to do these activities? Can you let the board know?
It's, I believe, yes.
Okay.
It's embedded during the day.
Okay,
Yeah, into their day-to-day.
gotcha.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Robeson?
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson?
Yes,
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Acker?
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, is there any additional information for the board? Is there any unfinished business?
Just, Mr. Acker, so the IT committee would like to present to the board maximum 4 to 6 minutes, just on, how we're utilizing the funds that were allotted to our group, because we haven't been in front of the board, I think, for a year now, so it's about that time. Not urgent, and, whenever there's a lighter agenda, maybe put us on. But if you just give us a week's notice, we can keep it at 6 minutes. But
no
you should
problem.
know what you're,
Yep.
what you're getting, yeah.
That'd be great. We can do that.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. Thank you very much, Mr. Rhodes. Okay, so new business? If not, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.
All right.